you find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us.
Welcome into the Gibson Fantasy Football Podcast.
Woo!
We go. We're back. We're in different spots to try to get the audio and visual back working. We were finding it a bit cramped to hang together in the camera view there.
Yeah, I think I was a little out of the picture there, but it's okay. Back
Now
in.
you're right in it, front and center. We can see every inch of you.
It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing.
Never too much Aaron, right?
Yeah. A little too much, Aaron. You know what I mean.
All right. So we're back here November 30th. So it's the eve of December, which is which features Christmas Eve and Christmas. So we are embarking upon the holiday season here.
Christmas Eve games. It's a good early present for everybody, right? Just get a bunch of games on Christmas Eve, and I love that. I love when there's games on Christmas Eve.
It's going to be a wild time. And we kick it off tomorrow with a good one between the Bills and Patriots there.
Ooh, good old AFC East rival.
Yeah, and both teams are doing well. I think the Bills are 2 up on the Patriots, but not far behind there, so they could certainly gain some ground and move up. And that the Jets playing well and the Dolphins playing well. Jets have a tough matchup against Minnesota. Dolphins are playing the 49ers. It's not, at least one team has to win, but you could see 1 out of 4 or even 3 out of 4. It's kind of hard to predict.
We call the last hour every Sunday as the witching hour. This really is the witching month where winners become losers and losers will become winners.
That's right. Yeah, playoff teams will become cemented, and teams that we thought were getting in will get the boot.
Yep, it's just that time of year, so. Woo,
last year, that was the Chargers for your aforementioned Raiders, where you beat them in overtime in the last game of the season and booted them out.
Yeah, that was an exciting season if you're a Raiders fan, but just to end early. So,
yeah. Hey, still got into the big dance.
Yeah, we had a good game last Sunday though, so I can't complain.
That was a great game.
Yeah,
we both sat down live and watching that one, and that was enjoyable. I really had
a lot of fun watching those games. So,
all right, GibsonFantasyFootball.com, Gibson_FF on Twitter, Gibson Fantasy Football, all one word, Instagram, YouTube, Podbean, and Spotify.
Woo.
All right, so it's week 13. Unlucky.
Yeah, for some of us, yeah, for sure.
Well, it could be. We don't know yet. But yes, for some of us, week 12 wasn't so good.
No.
For others, well, it was just fine. But we'll get into that shortly. It's kind of crazy because, you got week 13, you got 14, you got 15. And then most people are doing their playoffs in 16, 17, unless you started off in 15. Or
right.
In 15, right? So depending on whether you got 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but you got only either 2 or 3 weeks left in the season at this point.
Yeah. So make some of those roster moves, and it's time to maybe drop some of those guys that you're hanging on to for hopefuls, but it's time to just make moves if you're trying to get into the playoffs right now.
That's it, right? I mean, in either case, whether you are like clawing to try to get in, you got to just drop everybody that's not going to help you win right now and hope for the best. And even if you're a contender, you got to kind of trim the fat and say, like, okay, who are really the players that can help me? And if you're a contender, you probably got a good enough team that you're better off to roster a defense that has a good matchup in the playoffs and drop, someone like, like Sky Moore for the Chiefs, or, a hopeful like maybe Romeo Doubs that might come back at some point for the Packers. Some of those guys, it might just be time to move on from some of them.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, Let's get her done. Week 12. We've got an individual to recap here who, well, it wasn't a good time for them. And
Nope.
unfortunately, they've been on this list before and they're back on it. But who knows? Maybe this will be the last time this year. Who knows? All right.
All right.
Done. The misses.
Yeah.
Not so good.
It's a list I've never been on.
No, that's true, eh? That's actually pretty impressive because even I've been on that list
I know.
as recently as last week. But we're not talking about me, at least not yet.
No.
So Don, I mean, again though, like 106.04, like not a terrible week, right? Like not a good week, but we've seen some very low scores this year, and that was not one of them.
Yeah, she only lost by 10 points, so I mean, it wasn't a huge blowout or anything. It's just one of those weeks where someone's got to be the loser, and it was her. But there's been weeks where 106 would give you the win. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah, and you can take a clear look and see like Darnell Mooney, who she played, which she was in a tough matchup to begin with, but gets injured early in the game, exits, now he's done for the year, and he goosed her. So like, you know, that's not that you're necessarily going to get 10 points from the replacement option, although she could have if it was Adam Thielen. But, you know, that one move right there is enough to kind of sway the odds when you're so close in a matchup like this.
Yeah, Murray definitely came back for her big time.
Oh, yeah.
She's got 3 quarterbacks on her team. Now, I know Murray was injured, so that's probably why, but that's one of those things we were just saying before. Maybe make some of those drops.
Yeah.
I've got 2 on my team. I'll probably drop him, but yeah, not bad. Not bad by her kicker again. Consistent.
Yeah, Young Ho Koo. We got Jonathan Taylor came through, another big game. Like you mentioned, Murray, Tyreek Hill was okay, right? 6 for 85. Hopkins, only 4 catches, but 87 yards and a score, so you'll take that. Cordero had a tough day. Fryermuth had a tough day. Debo got banged up, and they didn't really need him because New Orleans never scored a point. Jaguars D against Baltimore was Baltimore D against the Jaguars was a bit risky, and they did well, 4 sacks and a fumble, but they gave up 28 points, so that's kind of what hurt her there.
Yeah, fortunately though, you know, going up against Evans' Cincinnati defense, who only got 2, so she came out on the winning side on that. But and their kickers both tied, but then Mooney not playing or getting injured definitely hurt her. And,
Evans didn't really have like a boom week from anybody. Like Diggs with 17 is certainly very good, but Schultz, I guess, actually getting 17 from your tight end when he scores 2 touchdowns. That's really what swayed the match up there.
Yeah, big time.
Not too many tight ends can do that.
No, as I know.
Yeah, I think we'd both be happy to get 17 points from a tight end at this point.
7 points. Just give me 7 points, and I'll be happy. 7.
Well, we'll be talking about your team shortly. Don't worry.
I know. And why is that, Josh?
Well, there's one of us in our contentious head-to-head mono-e-mono co-host matchup came through as the good old champione of the week. And let's find out who it was. Ooh, another one bites the dust.
Yeah, that's a good tune there. Good tune. I'll take it.
Seemed appropriate, given that I, kind of knocked you off there, right? And
Oh,
earned
for sure.
myself another W.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
And it was a good matchup, man. We were two of the three highest scoring performances on the week. So
I felt like it was almost like a head-to-head horse race in those afternoon games. We were just so close. I was just behind you, and it was so close there. Like I felt like I was going to go ahead. Mahomes is down in the red zone. No, he's not. Oh, yes, he is. No, he's not. Yes, he is. It couldn't happen. He couldn't throw a touchdown pass. He couldn't do it.
It was crazy. There was I think it was at one point it was 135 to 131. And so it was close. And we both had multiple players. I had Herbert, I had Foster Moreau, I had Kenneth Walker, I think.
Yep.
And who was the other one? Herbert, Moreau, and McCaffrey. And then you had Mahomes and James Conner.
Yep.
And so there was still projecting for me to win because I had more players, but McCaffrey was just doing nothing.
Yep.
And Herbert hadn't really done much. They were behind. Morrow was giving me nothing. And all of a sudden, things started to pour on there late.
Yeah, as I knew as soon as Mahomes didn't get the touchdowns, Connor was kind of just he had a good game, but after he got that one touchdown, they kind of that was over. And then Carlson, I needed him to come up with a few more kicks, and it didn't happen. And then all of a sudden, those things didn't happen for me, but then everything happened for you. It was just and then that was the horse just pulled away for you.
Yeah, it was like we were watching that Raiders game, and they were down a touchdown, and you're hoping they get a touchdown because it's your team, and you want to see them go to overtime. And you're and then it'll get a point for Carlson. And then they happen to throw the touchdown to Foster Moreau. And it's and now I was feeling good. I wasn't 100% certain, but that was I felt way more confident. And then Herbert threw one more touchdown with a 2-point conversion to win the game. And that was enough to seal the matchup there.
Yeah, no, for sure. So
151.5, 133.7. Like I said, two really good scores. Both beat our projections. Both had really good weeks. But I managed to come through. You put me to the test. So
yeah, should have played Sanders.
Oh man, yeah, it was a juicy matchup.
Yeah,
Packers. But Pollard was the one who killed you. He's been just destroying everybody. And not much this game. Only one reception, 60 rush yards. Zeke stole the touchdowns.
Yeah, and if they pick up Odell, there'll be a running game, but I don't know. For fantasy, I'm a little concerned about that. I like Pollard. I do. I'm going to keep him, obviously, but
yeah, I think he might be more of a stash at the moment while you wait and see kind of what happens with Zeke and Pollard.
Yeah.
If you have to play him, I think you can, but because of the other options that you have on your team and it being more of a shallow league, you can definitely afford to bench him for someone else if you need to, especially if Mixon makes it back with this week, which looks like he's in the midst of practicing and trying to clear concussion protocol.
Yep.
So we touched on some of the big performers. I mean, almost everybody other than that, right? Mahomes, Amon-Ra St. Brown, T. Higgins again. Connor found the end zone, cleared 120 yards on the ground. Jeff Wilson found the end zone, although that was a disappointing day from him. I expected a lot more. Waddle was 5 for 85.
Going up against that horrible Texans defense, you just think, okay, well, this guy should get a little bit more, but
it's just 39 yards on the ground, 13 through the air, but he got hurt partway through, and then the game was over. I mean, it was 30-0, and they benched Tua in the third quarter, which was crazy. That hurt you too, because then Waddle didn't get anything, right?
No, he stayed at 11. Yeah, just wasn't a good day.
Yeah. So on the other side, I had Herbert, Jefferson, Lamb, Stevenson, Morrow, Walker. Rashad White did pretty well in his debut.
Yep.
A lot of catches, right? 9 for 45 and then 64 on the ground. So, yeah, big game and sets us up for another week here.
For sure.
And then over here we had Dan taking down OMG, which we kind of figured would happen. Their quarterbacks went mono-y-mono as well, man. 30 points from Allen, nearly 30 points from Hurts. That was they were both on fire this week.
Yeah, big time.
And then Godwin for Dan, man. That was what a day. 12 for 110 and 1. Huge game from Godwin.
Great pickup on the defense too by Dan, San Fran.
Yeah.
His kicker too.
That 49ers D. Any Butker that he got from the bye. Kelsey was okay, 4 for 57 and 1. Eckler was good. And then, your dad just didn't have enough firepower.
No.
Adams had a pretty down game. T. Hawkinson was good. Smith kind of busted. Palmer, Singletary didn't really work out.
Yeah, just played the wrong team.
Yeah.
A few other teams he would have beaten and just didn't have the right team.
And then the last but not least was an intriguing one. It was a battle of the 5 and 6 teams. So one person would move up, one would move down, and Jay came out on top in this one, 133.96 to 121.1. Lamar did his job, but really the story is the story of the week, which was Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. When you look at the matchups against one another, a lot of similar, like very close matchups, minus a couple, but quarterbacks pretty close there with 23 for Lamar, 22 or 18 for Burrow. Wide receivers, Slayton 7, McLaurin 7. It's pretty close there, but then all of a sudden you just scroll down a little bit and 43 points for Josh Jacobs. I mean, that just...
Yeah, 45 points. It's like 229 on the ground, 74 through the air, and 2 touchdowns. Cool.
Had himself a day, especially overtime. Overtime, you're playing somebody and that's got some players in an overtime game, you always kind of sweat a little harder.
Well, he was already looking like he was going to win against Craig, and then all of a sudden, Jacobs ran for that 86-yard touchdown to seal it in overtime, and Craig was just never able to come back from that. He had a good performance from Pittman on Monday, and Jay had Paris Campbell in who did almost nothing. So he could have made up some ground, but that was just way too much ground to make up.
Yeah, big time.
It was quite the week. There was some big games. The Thursday games were really good. The Thanksgiving festivities were awesome.
Yep.
And yeah, the Sundays, that afternoon slate was quite good as well. Sunday night game was actually another great one as well with the Eagles and Packers, 40-33. That was crazy, and you got to see Jordan Love in there.
Yeah, I was getting mixed up there. The Monday night game was
Colts and Steelers, man. Oof, that was a snore fest.
Yeah, I just watched first half. Well, we stayed up and watched the first half, and I just couldn't do it. Couldn't torture myself.
No, that's fair. All right, injuries we mentioned. Darnell Mooney's done. Kyle Pitts is officially done for the year. Still waiting on some folks. Waller, Renfro, Goddard. I mean, Kupp, I don't think he's going to come back at this point. But Khalil Herbert, Zach Ertz, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Stafford, Mike Williams, Kadarius Toney, Joe Mixon we talked about, Rondale Moore, Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler. Waiting to find out about Fields and Fournette. Jamar Chase looks optimistic. Carter got banged up. Etienne got banged up, but he should be good to go. Jacobs is actually injured as well. He was injured going into the game and then hurt it more. So he's another one we're kind of waiting to see how that's going to pan out. So yeah, between like And then Najee Harris went out on Monday. So got like several kind of running back situations that we're not really sure about.
Yeah, Mixon's
It's
going to
going to be
play
kind of
on
interesting.
Sunday. He's coming
Seems
back.
like it.
Yeah,
I think so.
From
It's
what
too big of
all
a
the
game.
guys, yeah, from what everybody's saying, Mixon's playing. It seems like Chase is going to play too. From what everybody's kind of saying, so it will just be interesting though, because if they feel like Chase is kind of still lingering a little bit, they're going to pull. So, bit of a risk, I think, to play him, but still at the same time, it's kind of hard not to play him.
He's so good. You do have to, you have to make that decision around, is a limited Chase better than a full go, whoever your other pivot option is?
Exactly. So that's going to be a tough one, but so that's good news for Cincinnati because they got a big game. So, but also too, not on the offensive side of notes, but Aaron Donaldson's going to be missing his first game for an injury. I know he missed a game last season or something, but it was because they pulled him or something along those lines, not because of an injury. So high ankle sprain for Aaron Donald just adds to that Los Angeles Rams list of injuries. I mean, forget about it. Like, just throw in the towel.
They basically have, right? I mean, Aaron Donald done probably for the year. Cooper Kupp's done probably for the year. Matthew Stafford's staying in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Their offensive line's banged up. They cut Darrell Henderson, so they don't even have him now. They're riding Akers and Kyron Williams. Like, Higbee's injured. He didn't play last time. Allen Robinson's done for the year. Like, it's over. Like, anybody who gets to play the Rams, like, you want to start all your offensive fantasy players there. It's going to be just a slog fest, man. It's just going to destroy them.
Take that defense. Who's ever playing on, pick up that defense.
That's right.
Don't see them. Yeah.
No, they can't. They're not going to be able to generate any offense. No. We saw it this week against Kansas City, right? Like, they got lucky. They ended up scoring a touchdown there, but it was garbage time the whole second half. All right. Survivor picks. So we actually did pretty well there. We both kept her going. I took the Commanders to take down the Falcons, which they did. And you took the Bengals to take down the Titans, which they did.
Nice.
So that was good there. I'm riding a streak of 5. You're riding a streak of 2. I got 7 on the year, and you got 7 on the year. So things are heating up. We're getting to the stretch run here. So you need to be confident. Who are you feeling confident in this week?
I'm going to be taking the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson coming back with them beating the Texans. Yeah.
I mean, Deshaun Watson aside, because, we don't want to get too much into that discussion. But, I think anybody against Houston's a good bet at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Cleveland's actually looked really good. Even with Jacoby Brissett, they knocked off the Tom Brady-led Buccaneers in overtime this week. So another big win for them. I don't think they can really amount to anything because of their record. I think they're 4-7 maybe.
The Browns?
Yeah. So, they'd have to run the table basically to make a threat. But still, they're gonna give some folks trouble down the stretch and maybe play spoiler, especially in their own division with the Ravens and Bengals.
For sure.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to go with another division mate there, the Ravens, to sadly knock off my Broncos. It's sad to pick against your own team, but for the purposes of Survivor, it's a great pick. Can't do anything.
No. Is it in Denver at least, or?
I don't think so. Actually, I think it's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that even hurts worse because sometimes that home field high altitude game can really play some key factors. But I mean, even that right now isn't helping them. So.
Yeah, it's been a disaster for them, man. It's just not a good time. Yeah, it's in Baltimore.
Yeah. So I'd give them a little hope if it was at home, but Baltimore game. They just, yeah. Fortunately, I think, geez, Russell Wilson, I got nothing against Russell Wilson. I'm not a big Broncos fan, obviously, because they play in the AFC West, but I wouldn't mind seeing the guy turn around a little bit and see him do something.
It's brutal. Absolutely brutal. All right. Upset picks. So, last week I took the Titans to take down the Bengals. There we go. Which we just talked about. Didn't work out. And you took the Bears to take down the Jets. Once we knew Justin Fields wasn't playing, that became even more bold. And once Mike White decided to be a hero, that became pretty much impossible.
Yes, it did.
So, no upsets. Not successful this go around, but take another shot at it this week. And I'm curious to hear where you're going with this one.
Well, I'm taking the Titans over the Eagles.
Interesting.
Titans are
last week you took the Bengals to beat the Titans, but this week you take the Titans to beat the Eagles, which means you maybe have more respect for the Bengals than the Eagles at this moment.
Yeah. I just think Titans are,
You're like, hey, 1 + 1 doesn't have to equal 2, Josh.
No. No, I don't know. It seems like it's 5.5 spread, I believe, in the game for the Eagles. I just like the Titans to, give it to the Eagles this game.
I think they'll keep it close. They do a good job of keeping most of their games pretty close. And they've got that pretty solid defense. Obviously, they got Derrick Henry, but it's bold. It's possible because we've seen the Eagles, slip up from time to time here. They only lost 1 game, but they have kind of let teams hang around. The Packers put up 33 on them last week. They got beat by Washington a few weeks ago, so it's not impossible.
No, not at all.
And mine is another one where I was like, I'm looking at the line and I was like, I get it because, they're at home and whatnot, but 49ers are, I think, 4-point favorites on the Dolphins. And I'm going to take the Dolphins as the upset, man. I actually would almost pick them outright at this point. Like that to me, I'm like, man, they just been rolling. They haven't lost. But I don't think they've lost since Tua's come back.
I feel like a 49ers fan set that line there. I feel like
I love the 49ers and I love McCaffrey, but they didn't look great last week. They put up 13 points on the Saints.
I mean, the Dolphins are a pretty good team offensively.
So
that could be a bit of a factor going into this game because the 49ers defense is pretty good. So,
that's true.
We'll see though. It's a little surprising that they have that high, but who am I? So
they got some faith, obviously, that they'll be able to pull it off. So I mean, we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
that's a game I'm excited about.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. Hopefully, a better game for both. Waddle, I think I took Wilson out of the lineup this week, so. Just because, but hopefully a bigger game for Waddle for sure.
We didn't mention it, but Raheem Mostert is also expected to come back for the Dolphins this week. So that would be another reason to consider benching. All right, let's get into her. So week 13 here. Some folks have already set lineups. Some folks are like, there's football tomorrow? What are you talking about? So depends on who you're looking at here. Yeah. But let's dig in. Let's go Don versus Jay first. I think that's an interesting one. So, oh man, Don gets hit with one of the only 2 teams on a bye here, the Cardinals and Panthers. She loses her Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins stack.
Yes.
That sucks for her. Jay doesn't really lose anybody. She can pivot to Brady or Garoppolo, both of which are options. I'd probably pivot to Brady against New Orleans.
Same.
But yeah, okay. So she's gonna be without those two. She'll throw Brady in. She's got to get rid of Mooney and probably go pick someone. Well, she probably could play Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen.
Got Njoku back for tight end that she could pull Freiermuth out if she wants. Yeah, gonna have to probably make a couple moves here.
For sure.
On the other side, Jay's probably not gonna make any changes. I would imagine his lineup's probably good to go. Unless he wants to pull out the Patriots defense that he's got for Buffalo. That's a bit risky.
Yeah. I definitely would probably pull that move just because it's Buffalo. Thursday night game. Thursday night games can be a little odd though, but Buffalo coming off a Thursday night game, now they're playing another Thursday night. Well,
Both teams.
Thursday during the day, so
yeah, they both played on Thanksgiving.
That's true, yeah. So back-to-back Thursday games for them, so should be a good one actually. They should be good and rested, and should be a good game. So, but I like in this fantasy, I like Jay to take this one. Just there may be some moves that Dawn can make and have a big day from Hill. If she can get a bigger day from Patterson too, that would be good. Jonathan Taylor, so she could have a big day. But there's just too many quarterback is kind of my biggest question, and losing that duo that she's got. So
I agree. Yeah, the stack is too much to overcome. Picks wise, by the way, I went 4 for 4 last week. You went 0 for 4. So the gap has widened now, 25 versus 18. But I got to stick with you here. I can't take Dawn unless she has to make some really good pickups to turn this thing around.
For sure.
Okay, let's go to. All right, let's go. Me versus Craig here. So I think we'll go kind of save a couple of the other ones that I think are interesting to the end here. So, neither of us are. Well, he's missing Hollywood Brown, although he just came back from injury, so he didn't play him last week anyway. But it does hurt because you would have liked to have played him now that he's back and had a full week of practice.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Kamara on the bench right now, who's not been super effective. Probably pull out Mac Hollins for him if I were him, but we'll see. Or Pittman. Or maybe, I don't think Mike Williams is going to play. But, neither of us really missing anybody. I'm waiting to see if Fournette's going to miss again to decide whether I play Rashad White or DK Metcalf. But a couple of good options there. Probably going to ride with Foster Moreau again and just hope for another touchdown.
Why not, right? I mean, that's kind of the way I've been playing tight ends this season. Is if he does a good week, I'm putting him in the next week. So
it's a little bit of chasing, but I mean, he has scored a couple times on the year. It's not his first time finding the end zone, but
he's starting to connect with Carr. So I mean, you could see more from him. So
Waller's going to be out for another couple weeks at least. So
so I like that. I like having him in there. I think you're going to win this week, but I'm taking Craig just because I need to make some ground, and I know you're going to take yourself. But just the consistency that your team's been having is just really good. Yeah,
I've been pretty fortunate. Knock on wood. The Jamar Chase injury sucked, but outside of that, I haven't really dealt with anything. Goddard was another one that's been hurting me at tight end, although I scraped by pretty well this week with Foster Moreau, so that was good.
For sure.
So the tight end situation, but if I can get him back for the playoffs, that would be really all that matters at this point. And it's kind of nice that right as Herbert went into his slump, missing his weapons, I managed to grab Justin Fields. Then Justin Fields gets banged up, and now Herbert's back playing well. So that was a smooth transition there as well.
Worked out for you.
Okay. Let's go to... it's a tough call. Where do we go? All right. We'll save you to the last. I think your matchup's very intriguing. But this is going to be a good one, too. OMG versus Evan. So Evan's climbed to the 5th spot. OMG's down at the 7th. He's more or less toast. We got, I think we said 3 weeks left here. So,
Yeah,
he could get to 6 wins, but
he's
gonna
going
be
to try to
gone pretty
avoid
much
that.
all of
The blue balls is what he's trying to avoid now, right? So,
yeah. You don't want to get that trophy.
no.
But yeah, I mean, he's got a pretty good lineup. Is there anybody on the bench? Rondell Moore's still injured. So yeah, he's not really missing anybody. Probably unless Carter comes back, but I don't think he comes back this week. So probably gonna leave his lineup more or less as is.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, on the other side, Evan is probably gonna ride with pretty much the same lineup he had last week because that worked out for him.
Yeah.
So you take a look here. Got like Dak, Diggs, Lockett, Monty, Cook, Schultz, Ayuk, Jamal versus Josh Allen, Adams, Palmer, Singletary, Chubb, Hawkinson, Smith, Murray, and then a couple of decent kickers. He's got OMG's got the Dallas D taking on the Colts. That's a nice matchup. Evan might want to pivot from that Bengals D taking on the Chiefs.
Yes. Yeah. They were high-scoring games last season, and I've got a feeling it's going to be another high-scoring game. So,
yeah, that was the AFC Championship game.
Yeah,
that's a good pivot there. But outside of that, it's close, man. It's a bit of a coin flip. Who you leaning with here?
I'll go with Evan on this one. I think not really no strategic decision on this. Just kind of think that his team's a little bit better than OMG's. That's my reasoning.
That's fair. Hey, you got to go with the gut. Okay. Now this is a big one here.
Who'd you go with?
Last but not least, I took OMG to be contrarian.
Okay.
To keep it interesting here. Okay. Now you're taking on the Dan Man, sitting in second place. You're sitting in third. You got a chance to close the gap a little bit, and if nothing else, at least keep Jay and Evan and Craig off your tail a little bit here.
Yeah, made a few pickups.
So, yeah, you were saying you got some moves to make. Looks like you got Evan Engram in there at tight end, so you've made a little pivot there from Dawson Knox.
This is the second week I've kind of looked at the defense that somebody's playing, and like last week it was Wilson going up against the worst run defense, so play Wilson. Didn't really work out. So this week I've gone with Evan Engram against the worst tight end defense, Detroit. So hopefully this one will work out unlike the last one. And like I was saying before with the Rams, picked up that defense in Seattle just because that Rams team is depleted. So hopefully they'll get the job done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a good plan. I like the Seattle play against the Rams. I don't think they're going to be able to do a whole heck of a lot. Evan Ingram's been pretty good on the course of the season. He had a bit of a down week last couple weeks here, but he was pretty good. He had a nice stretch there of 4 games that he was really doing well. So probably needs a touchdown, but that should be a pretty high-scoring game between those two teams because either of them is very good at defense, and both of them are quite good in terms of offenses. So,
yeah, always worried though going up against the Kels man. But the nice part is they got Mahomes, so what?
True.
Kels gets, Mahomes gets. So
that's true. It does help soften some of the blow there.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts going up against Tennessee.
Oof.
Hope for that Tennessee team to show up. So they Cooper will be interesting to see what he does.
It's funny. Houston's been a bad matchup for wide receivers and quarterbacks because they're so easy to run on.
Yes.
And because they get blown out that the teams stop throwing the ball in the second half.
Yeah, so let's hope for that. With Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, let's go Chubb.
Yeah, it might work out.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Dan, yeah, he's got Swift in there still, who's not been particularly great, and he's also got Najee and Etienne, who, I think Etienne plays, but I don't know about Najee, so he might have to make some pivots there, which could help you. That could be if you get, especially Etienne, he's been so good.
Sure,
Detroit's a nice juicy matchup.
Going up against my kicker that I've had for like the past 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be interesting.
Bit of a reunion.
Yeah, hopefully Carlson. Hopefully I made the right decision with Carlson on that. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking he'll keep the San Fran defense. He may pivot on that one.
I don't know. Yeah. He'll probably keep him because he doesn't want to pick up another one. But
yeah,
I would probably pivot if I were him because I think Miami's offense is good enough to score some points.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I know you'll take yourself. I take Dan to be contrarian, but I think it's going to be a good matchup. And if you could steal a game from him, that would really go a long way to putting you in a good spot moving forward here.
For sure. I need it. So.
Well, we've reached that time where we get ourselves quench that thirst. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where's you got your water or your pop or something? What do you got today?
I got water.
Oh, the Raiders mug.
H2O.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yep.
All right. Well, last sip segment. The amazing race. The standings are upon us here. We are nearing the end of the season. And so I think it was worth checking out where everybody's at and kind of reevaluating who we think is going to make it into the playoffs here as we move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, first up there is yours truly, sitting in first place at 10-2, and at 9-3. So, pretty good chance that the two of us are in. I don't really think there's much that could happen to change that at this point.
No, you both are in the playoffs.
Yeah, which is a nice feeling. So I'm happy about that. But you are in third place in a 3-way tie with Jay and Evan at 6-6, and then Craig's right there at 5-7. So it's really about the 4 of you, and things are interesting because none of you play each other this week. So you could all win, you could all lose. All possibilities are existing here.
Or I win, those 2 lose. That's the best outcome.
Yeah. Oh, those 3, you mean all 3 of them?
oh, Craig too. Yeah.
Yeah. You want them all to lose. So interesting here. So if we go kind of person by person, you've got Dan, Craig, and Evan left. So you're going to get the head-to-head on Evan and Craig and have a shot to kind of take them down.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Jay has Don, OMG, and then Dan. So a little easier with the first 2, but then he's got to take Dan on at the end there. And then Craig, as we mentioned, so he's got me. And then you 2 play each other. And then he finishes up the year with Don. And Evan has OMG. And then he takes on Dan. and finishes up the year with you. So it's gonna be like a lot of you guys are all playing each other for the most part,
Mhm.
except for Jay, who kind of dodges it there, but kind of puts it in your own hands. Where if you can knock off your opponents over the next couple of weeks, you'll lock yourself into the playoffs.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get in. So that's that.
Well, and points is the tiebreaker, which is becoming increasingly important here because you and Jay, you got 1546 points. He's got 1538. So you're both very close there. But
Mhm.
after that, Evan's got 1409. Craig's got 1442. So you got almost a 100-point gap on. You have a 100-point gap on Craig, and even a little more than that, like 130 on Evan.
Yeah.
So that tiebreaker, if you guys finish with the same record, you'll have that tiebreaker unless your team doesn't do well down the stretch and theirs does. But you would figure that 110 points or 100 points is enough to keep that spread down the stretch.
Yes, for sure.
So
Yeah.
I mean, really, for Craig to bump one of you out, he's got to have probably a better record because the same record's probably not going to get it done. Same with Evan. So I think Craig's got to go probably 3-0 to close out the year. Because we said what? There's 3 weeks left, right? So 3-0.
Yeah.
And then
3 weeks after this week.
This week and then 2 more. Yeah, so 3 weeks and then week 16 and 17 is playoffs.
Right.
So so he's got to go 3-0, I would think. And Evan probably has to go 2-1 because he has to finish ahead of you guys. So I think if you can win 2 out of 3, you should be good to go.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That's right.
Song.
And then, I mean, I think Don and OMG, they're in a super tight. Look at that. Both 3-9 and 1404.9 versus 1403.
Wow.
So
super close.
Somebody's taking down that last spot there. But it's going to be close. And then Dan and I at the top there. Our point totals are pretty close, 1647, 1618, and I got the extra win. So we'll be battling for that 1 seed down the stretch as well. So we got kind of like 3 separate battles going on. We got a 1 seed, we got a 8 seed, and we got a playoffs. So
yeah, I finished first before, and it means nothing. So you can have your great season, but all that matters is that 2 weeks of playoffs. So we'll see.
That's right. That's it, man.
Yep.
Gotta win 2 weeks. Nothing else matters.
Just win, baby.
At all costs. All right. Any other thoughts there on how things are going to shake out over the next 3 weeks?
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun watching it. Just hopefully players stay healthy for everybody. Everybody out there playing fantasy. Hopefully all your players stay healthy. And no matter where you finish, it's all about fun. And this season's been a lot of fun. So it's been fun watching the games here with you. And I don't know why I'm acting like this the last time I'm talking. So, but it's been a lot of fun so far. So I'm going to look forward to the next few weeks of fantasy football.
Yeah, it would be fun if you finished in the 2 or the 3 seed, and I got the 1 seed, and we had a shot to face each other in the finals there.
We've done it twice before. I believe twice.
I
believe
think
it's
that's
been
true.
twice, and I've come out on the losing end both times. So
yeah.
I would like that third redemption. I would like a redemption. I'm like a poor fighter that just keeps losing against somebody that just keeps like, oh no, I'll fight him again. It's like, stop.
I mean, third time is charm, right?
That's it.
All right, let's wrap things up. The game of the week.
Whew.
We got a couple good ones on the slate here, but I probably like yours the best, but I actually don't mind mine either. So, where are you going as your game of the week here?
Oh, you changed yours. I liked yours before. I'm I like the Chiefs and Bengals. Obviously, an AFC Championship rematch should be a really good one. Patty Mahomes is going to look for some redemption, so I'm hopefully going to see a lot of good passes from him, touchdowns. Hopefully, Joe Mixon's back in the mix and going to be 50 points, 50 plus points again. That'd be nice. I don't see it happening, but just a good day. So I'm going to enjoy that game.
Oh yeah, no, that's gonna be a fun one. I think that's got to be the game of the week. You know, it's like when the Bills and Chiefs played each other not that long ago. You get your popcorn and you gear up for that one, and you know, it's really a shame they didn't flex it as the Sunday night game. Instead, we got to watch the Colts and the Cowboys. You know, play each other. I use that word loosely because the Cowboys are going to destroy them. But
yeah, they flex week 14 Sunday night game, but they wouldn't flex
Yeah.
this game. I don't know.
I don't know, man. That would have made a ton more sense to me. I mean, at least it's an afternoon game, so there's less games going on.
Yeah.
But you know, still doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No.
I pivoted. You're right. So I'm debating. I had the Chargers and Raiders, which I still think is going to be a really good game. I'm excited to AFC West teams going at it. Raiders have looked better the last few weeks. They just knocked off the Cardinals, right, in overtime.
Yep.
No,
sorry.
no, the Chiefs, the Chargers knocked off the Cardinals.
Yes. Yeah. The Raiders beat. Oh man.
Seattle.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so they knocked off Seattle. So I think that'll be a good one. But I'm quite intrigued by this 49ers Dolphins game because I really want to see who comes out of this one. I think it's two powerhouse teams, and you know the Dolphins are trying to prove they're legit. A lot of people are picking the 49ers as the potential NFC Championship team. So I'd like to see, can the Dolphins overcome this challenge? They've knocked off some pretty good teams this year, so we'll see what they can do.
I agree. I think that should be a good game. Excited to see it. Excited to see if whoever picked that line was right. I'm sure
maybe
they have their reasoning, but it should be a good one. Both teams need a win, so.
They do. Yeah, I mean, that's what we kind of forget is like 49ers are a good team, but they don't have a great record because they lost some games early. So they're going to need to scrape together some more victories here if they're going to find themselves in a decent spot. You know, I don't know if they'll have to try to take down Seattle for that division. I mean, the Rams are toast. Cardinals are kind of in the mix, but yeah, you want to get that home field advantage, and you want to get an opportunity to host that first game.
For sure.
All right. Here we go, man. Week 13. Anything else before we wrap her up here?
Nope. Looking forward to it, and let's hope week 13 is not the unlucky week for anybody, and just those that I'm playing. Other than that, it's been good.
That's right. That's yeah. It's gonna be unlucky for 4 out of 8 teams here, but hopefully it's not either of us.
Nope.
All right. Gibson Fantasy Football, Gibson_FF, Gibson Fantasy Football, all one word, at Instagram, YouTube, Podbean, and Spotify. Go Raiders, says Aaron. Go Broncos, says me. I'll take it if they can upset the Bengals, the Ravens, but God forbid that happens. Until next time, clear eyes, full heart, can't lose.